Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq, with daily insight on the Nasdaq-100 index, or the NDX, which is made up of 100 of the largest domestic and international non-financial innovative companies listed on Nasdaq. The NDX has been the barometer for U.S. large cap growth, and also one of the best performing indexes over the last decade and a half, not to mention one of the most liquid index ecosystems in the world. Joining us this Monday afternoon, we have Chris Dearborn, Managing Director on Nasdaq's Market Intelligence Desk, for an update on technical levels to watch in the Nasdaq-100. And Chris, I guess what the story is as it relates to the Nasdaq-100 is, checking those valuations that a number of those growth stocks, had achieved in 2020, 2021 for sure.
Absolutely. That's been an ongoing story for a while. Obviously, the geopolitical situation is terrible, as we've talked about before, and you see across all the news outlets. But on the valuation points, we'll stick directly with the Nasdaq-100. Tech gets a high valuation. When you're looking at rising interest rate environment, that is going to impact that valuation significantly. And we have the Fed meeting this week, as expected, or expecting a quarter point basis hike, even though there was speculation previously that there would be higher. Right now, it's at a quarter after the chairman spoke last week on the Hill. And what we're looking at here is all the meetings will be live. So that rate hike could be between 1.25 and 1.5 by the end of the year with all 7 meetings. So looking at that valuation is going to be eaten into by a number of different companies. So what you're really looking at, that forward PE multiple has got to come down. And I think that's what you're seeing, a bit of a haircut in on top of all the other items, with obviously with the inflation, the geopolitical situation, and really just uncertainty in the broader global economic environment.
And Chris, if we take a look at the first chart here, what are the technical levels that you're now watching in the Nasdaq-100?
The chart's ugly. There's no doubt about it. It's been tough recently. Really, there's no appetite for risk out there right now, especially on the tech side. And strength is being sold across the board. We saw that today. The Nasdaq-100 index opened higher today. We had a strong opening, and then about 11:30, 12 o'clock Eastern time, the index sold off. We're trading near the lows right now. So support is very tight. This is a crucial Fibonacci retracement level. So if you look at the chart, it's a 2-year chart. I don't usually bring that up, but I think it's crucial here. You're looking at a 38.2% retracement from the 52-week high that we made at the end of last year. And that is 12,947. That level is a line in the sand. That level must hold on a closing basis and give this index some support. Now, granted, a lot of factors here are away from the individual constituents of the index, but right now that is a technical level. If that breaks, and you got to go back to the August 2020 level of 12,167. If you bring up a monthly chart, which we didn't supply here, and you look at a 2-year overlay, that's the high of August 20th, and that was tested for the following 2 months and then recaptured before we broke out late into that 2020 Q4 area. So resistance above is 13,909 with plenty of resistance levels above that. Again, all of the major moving averages are moving down and to the right. So there's going to be, and you've had a couple of crossovers here as well with the 50-day through the 200-day. Some people say that's a sell signal, but that's been on the board for a few weeks now. So there's a lot of items there to look forward to, but really 12,947 is the line in the sand.
Right. And Chris, if we take a look at the last chart here, we can see which constituents are, I guess, relatively adding to the index this week.
Right. We've got about 25 up to 75 down. A lot of news out of China, especially with the city shutdowns. That's impacting Apple, one of the most, for about 40 points, one of the most influential members of the index. And then all the Chinese names are being hit in the index as well. Baidu, PDD, JD, and TES, all down significantly. And then the big boys are down as well. On the flip side of it, positively, Meta is having a strong day. Moderna and Pepsi are up. So you're seeing a lot of the consumer cyclical names adding value here to the index as well.
All right, Chris, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.